All right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome. Happy New Year, the first live stream ever in 2026. Welcome, guys. Yes, we did switch channels, mainly to focus with this channel being about the accelerated payoff strategy, HELOC, paying off your mortgage, and so forth. And then we have another channel, obviously the Kwak Brothers one, where we're gonna go back to doing a little bit more commentary around live real world events, as well as talking about general broader finance topics. But I'm so glad you guys are able to join us. Welcome to 2026. I am here at your service to answer questions you guys may have about the HELOC strategy, right? Using the HELOC to pay off your mortgage faster. That's what this call is all about. So ask any questions you guys have. Like I promised in the email, I won't hold bars, right? I won't hold back. All right. Feel free to ask whatever you would like to ask. I am here to ask or answer any questions you guys have about the HELOC strategy. All right. So let me actually open up my chat here. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions throughout, whether you're watching this live or you are watching this recording, feel free to ask your question in the chat. Even after the live, I will come back. If you still have questions, I will come back and answer any questions you guys may have, even in the replay itself. So couple of things that are happening in the real world situation right now, right? We are seeing obviously a lot happened, but 2026 is a very interesting year. A lot of interesting forecasting that are happening because of the rate reduction we've seen in the last couple of months, and we'll probably see more rate reduction throughout this year. There's going to be potentially a lot more inventory in the housing market. Well, what does that mean? Previously, in the last 2-year-ish, a lot of sellers were hesitant about selling their property. They were hesitant about selling their property because, well, if they sell their property, they got to buy and move elsewhere, where if they buy, that means they have to get a new mortgage, and getting a new mortgage means they have to get a 7%, 8% mortgage, where they might right now have 2.5%, 3%, 4% interest rate mortgage. And so a lot of sellers didn't want to give that up, and they were extremely hesitant about selling their property and getting a new one, even if their life event required it. So because of the interest rate and how, we've seen interest rates come down to somewhat of a nominal rate of 5.5, lower 6 rate, we might see more sellers now actually entertaining and taking the action of listing their property for sale. And we are going to start seeing more of that activity probably March, April, May, which is typically when people buy and sell their homes. And so that will ultimately and could bring the price of home down as we introduce more inventory into the market. That will cool the market a little bit. Okay. And that's going to help kind of bring down some of the prices and make hopefully housing more affordable to more people. And therefore more kind of activity in the market, more confidence, more sentiment, and better positive sentiment when it comes to the economy. And so that's one forecast that we're seeing in 2026 in terms of housing market inventory, overall lift in consumer sentiment. Of course, the decrease in interest rate typically doesn't affect the market for several months. So what we're all hoping with the Federal Reserve lowering the interest rate in the last couple months, we'll start to see the impact and the fruition of that, throughout the next couple months, which will help reduce the cost of capital, cost of interest, which we're hoping to see, just overall cost of living come down. Inflation is down. And so I think all of us are looking at 2026 as a bounce back year, where 2025 there was a lot of uncertainty, right? Tariffs and consumer sentiment, people still struggling with cost of living. And so I do see optimism in 2026 for sure for the economy and the market for sure. All right. So just another reminder, if you guys are just joining us, whether live or replay, put your questions in the chat live if you want to have questions answered. and I am here at your service to answer whatever questions you guys have about the HELOC strategy. Um, and we'll be doing this every week. Is my goal is to be able to answer questions about the accelerated payoff concept, using the HELOC to pay off your mortgage faster. Um, I'll be available for you guys on a weekly basis to answer any questions. All right. So, with that said, I'm going to make sure I got my chat opened up. Okay. All right. Ask your questions here. All right. Perfect. All right. And so while you guys are spooling up your questions, right? Thinking about questions you guys want to ask, I do want to show you guys um, a preview of Solve It. I know we've been talking about Solve It quite a bit. Before I do, I'm going to answer this question from JCoop76. What's a good company to go with HELOC with a 620 credit score? Yeah, a little tough, right? With 620, you're going to have a bit of a limited option. Not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's going to be limited. So I do think of one particular lender that does this. So the lower the credit score, um, the lender accepts, right? When it comes to HELOCs, the more stringent they're going to be in other areas of your financial qualifications. So with 620, 640, they might let you apply, but they're going to probably look at your income more stringently. So they're going to look at your tax returns. They're going to look at your pay stubs more carefully. They might ask for more pay stubs, right, to see kind of the consistency of your income. They might, even require that you have some assets or cash reserves. They might decrease the loan to value, so what you are able to borrow against, the value of your home. So there's going to be other kind of levers that are going to be more stringent at 620. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would still book a call with us, J Coop, and we'll make some suggestions in terms of the lenders that you can go with. It really depends on the state, because some lenders won't lend in particular states, right? So I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Book a call with us, and what's gonna happen is we're gonna ask you to fill out an assessment, and that assessment is gonna kind of give us your overall picture, right? Your income, your expense, your other debts that you have, debt to income ratio, loan to value, how much do you owe right now? So, think about like when you go to a new doctor's office or medical clinic, right? They have you fill out like a medical assessment form, like a questionnaire, right? So it's basically the same thing where we're going to ask you a series of questions, and that gives us kind of a robust look overall. And based on that, we'll be able to go and see, okay, A, would you be able to even do the strategy? And if not, B, could you at least even go get a HELOC somewhere? So yeah, but definitely book a call with us. More than happy to give you some suggestions. Uh, but we don't want to lead you down a wrong path, or a misguided path, I should say. Uh, you know, Giving you recommendations based on incomplete information, right? So yeah, I want to make sure you get suggestion based on the right context and right information, as opposed to just, you know, random suggestions you find on internet, which may or may not help you, right? So yeah. All right. So let me show you guys more of Solve It. This gets me really excited every time I talk about this. So I'm going to share my screen. There we go. All right. So some of you guys have been following us for a while. Some of you guys may be brand new to this. So we've been building and developing a software for the last 12 months or so, and we're at the cusp. We're so close at releasing this to our clients right now. And so, high level overview, what it does is it tracks your budget automatically. It tracks how much money and time you're saving so far based on a plan that you create within Solve It. And then 3, it gives you projections on how much money and time you could potentially save, using the accelerated payoff concept. So right away on the dashboard, I'm using a demo account, so you might not see real info, but you can see how much interest we saved so far, how much time we saved so far, and what is our projected payoff date. All right. And down below, you can see some sample debt accounts that we're paying down and the total balance, upcoming payments, right? Our income, expenses, and expected cash flow. Okay. Going over to the budget, this will now tell you what your monthly cash flow is. So you'll see income, expenses, cash flow. You'll see all your monthly cash flow for the past couple of months. All right. And the real cool part about Solve It is that just like Venmo, just like some of the other budgeting tool that you may have used, Solve It can connect to your real life financial accounts, right? Like credit card, checking account, savings account, mortgage, and it will pull in and fetch all the transactions, all the real time information about your balance, and bring it into Solve It so that it could automatically do your budgeting for you. So you can see right away, I got some, sample Chase checking, Ally Savings, Chase Freedom, right? All the transactions in near real time, usually within 3 hours, will get downloaded into Solve It, and it will categorize it, okay, into specific budget categories, okay, and then tell you what account it came from and what the description of the transaction is and the amount. And of course, you can always update it, no problem. You can update the description, the amount, right? Change it from groceries to maybe dining out, okay, or ignore it from the budget altogether. And you can set up your budget right here. So just like some of the budgeting apps that you may already use, you can set up your planned expenses. All right, maybe I can set up a category for charity, $100 a month. Okay, and then as you're doing your everyday expenses, right, day-to-day spending, Solve It will download those transactions and put them in the right category buckets for you, so that you don't have to worry about manually doing data entry. You don't have to manually worry about keeping track of your expenses and your income. It does all that for you automatically. Okay. Pretty cool, right? And so after that, okay, it keeps all your budget in line. It will update your debt payoff tracker as well. So let's say, obviously we're talking about the accelerator payoff concept. I'm gonna go to accelerator payoff, go next. Okay, I got AI system mode or manual mode. Okay, I'm gonna go with manual mode for now. I'll show you what AI system mode is in just a sec. All right, I'm gonna use secondly HELOC, and then I'm gonna go to, let's say, my monthly income on average, let's say, is $9,000 a month, paid to me first and the 15th. Okay, I get paid on the first, and then my expenses of 5,000. Okay, on the 24th. And so what it does, Solve It already knows, right, what my debt accounts are, right? They Solve It already knows, as long as I connected my credit cards, mortgages, auto loans, all that through Plaid, it already knows, right, what my balance is, what the payments are, right? It's gonna factor all that in. So Solve It will then calculate your cash flow of your monthly income, monthly expenses, debt payments, and it'll give you your surplus that you can use to now pay off your debt faster. So hit next. Okay, home equity line of credit. So we're going to use this HELOC $50,000 limit. It's going to show you the current balance that you already have on the HELOC, current limit, available credit, the interest rate for the line of credit, and then choose the chunk size you want to, pay down your debt. Okay. All right. And then from there, you can arrange what debt you want to pay off first. So maybe I want to pay off my Chase Freedom credit card first, and then my Toyota auto loan, and then I'm going to pay off my mortgage last. Okay. And so once I've done that, I've set the parameters. I go hit next. I'm going to give this plan a name and assign the start date of the strategy, and then click on save and calculate. Now it's going to give me an approximate projected result of how much time I'm going to save as well as how much interest I'm going to save. So, according to the calculator, I am set to pay off everything, my credit card, my auto loan, and my mortgage, all within 6 years and four months, saving $117,241. And I am set to be debt free by May 2032. Not bad. Pretty good, right? Okay. And then from there, you can see kind of the day to day, how it all plays out, right? The line of credit balance, the debt balance. All right. And what's really cool is that as you're going about the strategy, as you're going about doing your everyday life, the tracker will update for you based on what actually has occurred. So let's say, tomorrow you had an unforeseeable event and you had to borrow $3,000 from your line of credit, right? And that wasn't in the plan, but it happened, right? So what happens is Solve It will recalculate, right? It will reconfigure your plan for you based on what has actually occurred, and it will tell you if you are on track with the original plan, or are you off track because you spent more money than you should have, or you borrowed more money than you should have. So keep you on track and tell you if you are falling behind, or you're ahead of the schedule, or maybe you're like spot on, you're exactly where you need to be. So it's a great tracking, automation tool to give you clarity and certainty to know whether you're actually saving money or not, and where are you in the process? Like, what is the optimal path that you need to constantly be, to really be aligned with, so that you can ultimately save money and time using our strategies. Okay. Trish Navarro says, Sam, I have a home in Northern California, Magalia, 1,100 square feet, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, with full basement and 4-car detached garage with potential second story apartment on top. What's the best way to find serious investor? So Trish, if I understand this correctly, this isn't a property you already own. You're looking at wanting to buy the property. Is that right, Trish? I just want to make sure I understand um, your question correctly. Yeah, let me know if that's what is the scenario? What is the accurate scenario that we're working with here? Like, is this a property you already own and you have a plan of adding additional units? Or is this something you haven't bought yet, you want to, and you have an idea of how to make it more valuable, right? How to create more income? Um, I guess, which is it? It kind of depends on the type of scenario. Okay. Yeah, Trish, let me know if you can give me some follow-up answers to questions, because the more context, the better I can answer. Oh, you want to sell. Okay, got it. Got it. Um, on a scale 1 through 5, how much time do you have to actually put some effort in selling this? 1 being you have no time at all, 5 being you have all the time in the world and you can spend a ton of time in trying to advertise the property. Okay, 1 being you have no time, 5 being you have a ton of time. Because because advertising the property is going to cost you some resource, right? I own it and want to sell it. Yeah, I get that, but like, how much time do you have to dedicate to selling it? Because my answer is, well, what's wrong with just getting a real estate agent and list it? on the, find an investor friendly real estate agent and have them list it for you, put it on the MLS, and you're done, right? So I guess my question is, what's stopping you from doing that? Like, are you looking for maybe a better way than that? Or are you thinking, like, are you not sure if you're missing something? Because I mean, that's what I do. If I have a property that I want to sell for my property, I just list it with the real estate agent and done, right? Because if you don't have a lot of time, really the only option is at that point finding a real estate agent that has a good network of real estate investors, right? And then having them listed, or maybe they can go find you a buyer right away because they have a pretty good network that they don't even need to list it. They can just go talk to a potential buyer and then voila, problem solved. And, you have a buyer. If you're saying to me, hey, I have a ton of time to actually put some concerted effort in this, then you yourself can do some advertising yourself, right? You can go onto um, certain Facebook groups or social media and advertise the property. You would have to go take photos of it, put some description in place, right? Put together like an offering memorandum, right? And that's all going to take time, right? A couple hours of taking pictures, writing the memorandum, um, putting it on the advertising sites, right? Yes, you can put it on Zillow and Redfin, for sale by owner. You can do all that, but that's going to take time, right? The benefit is you get to save money on the real estate agent commission, right? So you're going to pay something, right? You're going to either pay with your time or pay with money when you sell the property. You just have to choose one of them, right? The only leverage at this point is, what creative outlets do you have? What relationships do you have? What special knowledge would you have, excuse me, that you could leverage, you know, special network being, are you part of a local real estate investing club? And if you are, then maybe you could advertise it there. And that greatly diminishes the amount of time you have to spend in advertising the property because you have a network that you can just talk to right away. If you know of a secret site or a website that you can use to advertise the property, that's a knowledge, right? Special knowledge that you can leverage to perhaps sell the property even faster without a real estate agent. So, if again, that's kind of where I am at, right? If you have zero time at all, like you're working and you have family, you have other obligation, and you have no time whatsoever to actively advertise this property, I would just go and call a local real estate agent that knows what they're doing and put it on the property, sign the listing agreement, and you're done. If you have all the time in the world, right, then yeah, I would myself take photos of the property, write a really good description to advertise it, put it on all these listing sites, right? Zillow, Redfin, Craigslist, Facebook groups. Um, if you have more time, connecting with wholesalers and other real estate investors, uh, and so yeah, you got to pick the route. Okay, I'm hoping I'm answering your question, Trish, because that's what I'm here to do, right? But I'm hoping I'm solving your problem, because if I'm not, yeah, if you can restate if you can restate the question, that'd be greatly helpful, so that I can actually answer the question that you want, um, answered, right? Okay. Okay. By the way, if you guys are just joining us, whether live or replay, feel free to ask your question in the chat. If you are watching the replay, throw your question in there. I'll usually come back within 24 hours to answer it. And yeah, maybe get a dialogue going even. All right. Okay. Any other questions? By the way, how did you guys spend your New Year's Eve, I guess, celebration and festivities? You guys went to go see fireworks, or you guys stayed home like me and just went to bed as the fireworks were going off? It's literally what I did. I just went to bed. I'm like, yep, another year. I just want my sleep. I need rest. And didn't even bother to turn on the TV or anything like that. I just went straight to bed. Right? I mean, I'm glad it's a new year. I'm happy about that, but you know, I think I like my rest and sleep better than watching a ball drop in Times Square. So, okay. All right. Any other questions, guys? Questions. All right. Patricia Connor is asking, I plan on doing this. I need to call and talk to someone to get started, just receiving my HELOC. Yeah, hey Patricia. So if you are looking for the link to schedule a call with us, I'm gonna put it in the chat one more time. Acceleratedstrategies.com slash consulting. So yeah, I mean, Patricia, did you have any questions in the meantime between now and booking a call, or were you just looking to book a call? I mean, you got me here. I'm live. I'm here with you guys. I'm spending time. Hopefully, this is giving you guys some opportunity to get to not only know the strategy and the process better, but also this is more of an opportunity for you to get to know me and the company and what we do. So feel free to ask anything. I mean, you can ask about me, ask about my question. You can ask about the process, the program, the HELOC. How does it all work? Right? Really, anything goes. There's no such thing as stupid questions. Um, Please feel free to ask. I don't want to. I know this is live. I know this is happening on YouTube, but I don't want to hold you guys back from asking genuine, curious questions. Because if you guys have any, if you guys want to argue with me and saying, "Oh, this strategy, this strategy, this Sam, this strategy is a bunch of baloney and it's BS," right? If you want to have an argument, let's do that too. As long as you're willing and open to seeing, you know, the genuine explanation of the strategy, right? And I'll do my best to understand where you're coming from as well, right? I live by this principle and idea that you should seek to understand before being understood, right? So, no questions right now. A little frightened to get started. We'll love to hear the process again. Just logged on, so I missed the first part. Yeah, absolutely. So, Patricia, just to be clear, you're not a client yet, right? You haven't signed up and enrolled in our program, right? Like you're just still kind of in this phase of, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but like I'm gonna book a call. I am wanting to get started in the enrollment, but yeah, I still have some maybe questions or doubts, maybe. I just want to make sure I understand where you are so that I can give you the most accurate. Okay, so yeah, if you're not a client yet, I'll kind of give you the process. So what's going to happen is, you can use your imagination with me. You're going to book a call with us. It's 30 minutes long. And in that 30 minutes of a call, we're going to do a couple things. One is we're going to find out, could you and should you do the strategy? So we'll run some numbers with you. We'll look at your financials. We'll kind of break things apart and go, okay, is this strategy going to make sense? And if it does, we're going to quickly find out how much money and time could you potentially save. So by the end of that 30-minute call, we should have, X amount of time and money that you can save using this strategy, right? So we'll kind of give you like a ballpark estimate projection of how much money and time you might save with the strategy. And if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, we're going to invite you back on a second call. And it's in that call we're going to talk about, okay, what is the implementation process for you, right? How are we going to implement the strategy for your specific scenario? And how does our program fit into that process? So we'll talk about your unique process in the sense that, okay, once you get started, you enroll as a client. Here's the first thing we're going to do, okay, which is going to be a strategy call. We're going to really dial in the plan, from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? We're going to figure out all the steps. From there, we're going to get you the line of credit. If you already have a HELOC, great. Then we skip that process. We don't have to go through that. One of the things that we will do, however, is we'll look at your existing HELOC if you already have one. We'll look at it and see if the HELOC that you have is compatible with our strategy, because there are, surprisingly, HELOCs that will not work well with our concept. There are HELOCs that do average daily balances versus daily ledger. There are HELOCs that have delays when it comes to drawing the money out. There are HELOCs that somehow have limits on how much you can draw per round. So there are HELOCs that are not going to be compatible or are going to be challenging to work with. And so one of the first things we'll do is we'll look at that HELOC for you and assess whether you have the right HELOC or not. If you do, great, awesome. We can move forward to actually now implementing the strategy. And then you solve it and use all the fancy AI tracking that we have. If you don't, then we're going to give you a couple facts and say, hey, Patricia, what would you like to do? Because this HELOC may not work for you. Here's how we could make it work, but we could also get you another HELOC that obviously is going to be better designed to do this strategy and will help you go through that process with you. And so once you get the HELOC, that's in place, we'll really sit down, hold your hand, walk you through the process on, okay, how do you actually move the money, right? From a HELOC to checking to the mortgage, right? What debt are we going to pay off first? And then we're going to actually help you set up your Solve It software so that, if you're not techie or if you're not good with tech, no worries. We're there to help. We're going to help you set it all up so that you don't have to struggle through it. And then once you have that set up, it should very much be hands-off process, other than if you have, a couple questions along the way, we're available. Maybe you thought of a question that you haven't before, the process, you're more than welcome to ask. And so we're going to be available, right? Think of us as like your coach. We're going to be available to help you, assist you throughout the implementation of the strategy, even afterwards. If you have any follow-up, we're here and available. So what you're ultimately buying with us is, yes, you get the software. Yes, you get all the tool. Yes, you get the people and the coach and our team to help you. But what you're ultimately at the end of the day buying is a peace of mind, knowing that you got a team of experts, team of highly qualified individuals to help you. So you're getting peace of mind. B, you're getting clarity and certainty, knowing that you're doing the right steps, you're doing it the right way, and you got a software that's going to help you and teach you if you are on the right track or not, right? So without our help, without getting any of that, it's almost like trying to go through a maze with your eyes closed, right? Which, can you still make it out at the end of the day? Maybe. I mean, you might have to like grope around the walls, right? Right? You know, that's what you may have to do, but it's certainly a lot better if you had two eyes open. You can actually look at and see where the walls are at. And even better, right? We have literally the map of the maze and tell you what turns you need to be making so that you're not stuck and you're not trapped in the maze, right? Which is, which is not what we want. So you're asking, can I ask you how much? So I'll preface with this. It's cheaper than Bitcoin, but it's going to cost you a little bit more, right? Than, a flat screen TV, right? Another way I look at it is it's around 1%. The cost, the enrollment fee with us is around 1% of what you would save on the interest. So that's pretty typical for us, for our model, perhaps even less. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question. So it's around, actually, no, it's anywhere between 1% and 5% of what we can help you save in terms of total interest cost. So the net amount that the typical investment we ask is $5,000. Okay. So it depends. Some we charge less because of a different process or different program. Some a little bit more if you have multiple debt or multiple properties, but that's kind of the median investment to join our program. Again, what you're buying is not just the HELOC, not just the name of a bank. It's not just getting the software. What you're buying at the end of the day is peace of mind, knowing you're doing the right things, clarity, certainty. You got people around you, community. You got myself, software, which you can't get anywhere else. And And so you're getting all that, which is still going to be cheaper if you try to do it your own way and making mistakes along the way. Okay, so it's going to be cheaper that doing it that way. Yeah, it looks like you do need to set up a call with us to get started. Yes. Yeah, and I'll put the link here one more time for you, Patricia. So https acceleratedstrategies.com/consulting. There we go. Okay. So it's like this, right? Do you do your own oil change? Do you, you know, do you do your own taxes? Which I hope not, because all the complexities with tax rules and tax laws and tax code, right? You would rather have a CPA or an earned agent do that for you because there's a lot of nuance when it comes to the tax law. You don't want to miss out a deduction. You don't want to do it the wrong way, or you don't want to claim the wrong deduction, which might land you in IRS jail. We don't want that, right? We don't want you violating tax law, which can get you into serious problems. We don't want that either, right? Same thing with if you do the oil change wrong, right? It's going to probably cost you more than that $60 quart of oil, right? You might have to replace your entire engine if you get the wrong oil, right? So just like how certain things in life, you just have to work with a professional, right? You actually save or earn more by working with a professional than trying to do it yourself, right? Just like my example earlier with the CPA or doing, oil change, the risk of making the mistake of doing it the wrong way far exceeds the cost of investment to do it the right way the first time, right? Because going back to the whole tax example, if I were to do my own taxes, I claim the wrong deductions or I miss out on a deduction largely, sure, I saved $500 to $1,000 to hire a CPA to do that for me. But if I miss out a deduction that could have saved me $6,000 of taxes, well, I just lost $5,000, right? The opportunity cost right there is I lost $5,000 by not working with a CPA that would have advised me to say, hey, you should claim that deduction because you qualify for it. And by taking on that deduction, you would save, $6,000 of additional taxes. But if I do it myself, I would have missed out on it. Even if I do it with ChatGPT is not a CPA, right? It's, there's still a lot of things that the AI does wrong, and from my experience. So yeah, for me, when I do something new or when I do something that's not within my field of expertise, I almost always, 99% of the time, I'm always working with a professional, an expert. Okay. Because I understand that, yes, I'm going to have to pay that person a fee, but I know the net result, the outcome is either going to save me more money than what I'm paying that person, or it's going to make me more money than my attempt at doing it the first time. Does that make sense? So that's the difference between a wealthy mindset and a broke mindset, dare I say, is the broke mindset tries to do everything by themselves. They're trying to figure it out all by themselves. They don't ask for help and they think they got it all figured out, right? The wealthy mindset understands that, hey, I'm good at certain things, but I'm terrible with most things. And therefore, I'm going to hire the best people to produce the best result so that I'm not trying to fix the same problem twice, right? I'm not trying to do my own oil change and then I have to go fix the engine later because I did it the wrong way, right? Which is going to cost me more money down the road. And so this is why broke people become more broke, because they create their own problems down the road that they don't really quite understand how to solve. Whereas the wealthy individuals, sure, there's a bit of an upfront investment, but it's more of a long-term perspective, knowing that, yeah, I'm going to invest $1,000 here, but hey, like I'm going to get back 5-10x the return in terms of either saving money or avoiding costs, right? And or making money, depending on what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So Trish here is she's a client of ours, so she can testify herself. She says it's money well spent. I got my HELOC through Sam a couple years ago, and it's been fantastic. I've paid off 2 of my houses and now have financial freedom. It's a tried and true. Well, thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I was gonna make a fun joke, but it's mildly inappropriate. But no, I appreciate that, Trish, from the bottom of my heart. I do, and I will receive it with kindness. And so, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, Patricia, that's my little shindig or rant, I should say, when it comes to working with any professional, not just us, right? You don't even have to you don't have to pay us, right? I'm talking about paying other experts and professionals if you ever encounter a situation where you're having to do something new or something you haven't done before in your life, right? Jay Coop says, spend time with son playing PS5, watch the ball drop. How soon software is ready? We're expecting probably mid-February for our own clients, but you have to be a client to get access to it. For a general release, so making it available to everyone in the world, that's probably not going to happen until maybe later this year in like December 2026. Um, but you do have to be a client with us to be able to access Solve It. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Any other questions? Some really good questions, guys. This is good. Good. Any other questions? Okay. Let me see how we're doing it on the oh, mute that here. There we go. Yeah, guys. So if you guys don't have any other questions, this was a really good conversation. I thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm live every week. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so because we have a ton of videos about this topic. You know, paying off your mortgage faster, HELOC, right, etc. So definitely subscribe because I will have new videos out pretty soon talking about a wide range of topics. Um, so if you have not subscribed, do so. Obviously, leave a like. It does help with the algorithm. Um, it's free. We're not going to charge you guys anything to leave a like here, right? And so definitely tune in every week. Other than major holidays like Christmas or Thanksgiving, we do these live streams every week. So yeah. Patricia says, logging out for now. I will make my call tomorrow afternoon. Awesome. Good to hear, Patricia. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to chatting, with the team member, of course. But yeah, looking forward to having you as a client, Patricia, and we'll definitely stay in tune. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. And for the rest of you guys, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Jay Coop. Thanks for tuning in and being an awesome attendee. And yeah, if you guys don't have anything else, or if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll wrap it up a little bit early. I haven't had dinner yet, so I got to go have dinner. It's been a long day. I had lot of work to do. If I'm giving you guys a little bit of BTS kind of scenes, yeah, my team and I were working really hard to get Solve It out for you guys, but also making some changes here and there with our program, inserting some really cool things. We also have a potential idea for adding some real estate investing training even within our accelerated strategies program. So that's coming. And just making improvements to just overall how we explain our strategy, how we let people know about our strategy, right? So yeah, for sure. So yeah, guys, if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and tune off and log out for now. We'll be back here next week, next Wednesday, to do it again, answer any questions you guys may have about our company, accelerated payoff in general, the strategy, HELOC. If you have any questions about me, feel free to ask. Obviously, I'm not going to hold anything back other than, if you ask me for my social security number, I'm not going to give you that, obviously, but yeah. All right, guys. All right, we're going to tune off. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in. Tune back in if you guys are watching the replay. We'll love to see you guys here live because I love having interactions. My passion and heart is to serve you guys, to help you. It's my biggest mission. So, guys, thank you for tuning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night as well as the rest of your week. We'll see you guys back here next week. Definitely check out some of the other videos we have. And God bless. We'll see you next time.